Welcome to another video from 254 Repair. In this one we're going to cover the entire process of replacing the LCD of my Galaxy S6. As you can see, the lights, the menu buttons, lights are coming on. So therefore we know the phone is on, but there is no video on the screen. That is a clear indicator that the LCD is damaged, and in this case we know for sure that that's the case for this phone. So we're gonna go ahead and start the process of replacing this LCD. First thing you want to do is remove that back glass from the phone. For that you're gonna use heat, and you're gonna warm up the back glass of the phone to around 60 degrees Celsius, and you're going to use an opening tool or a deck of cards to go ahead and remove that back glass. You can look at our other videos. We have a way more detailed one on how to remove that back glass. So we're going to go ahead and remove the screws. There's a total of 12 screws on the back of this phone. You need to remove every single one of them in order to be able to push out the screen off the frame. Now we remove the SIM card tray. And we lift the induction pad in order to be able to push from the back of the phone and get a gap in between the screen and the frame. And then we use our opening tool again to increase that gap until we actually are able to remove that screen from the frame. This part of the process, as you can see, there's a heat source, there's a heat gun right next to the phone, but it was not necessary at all. To be honest, we were doing this repair for the very first time, so we didn't know if we needed it or not. But in this specific part of the process, you do not need a heat gun. The screen is actually clipped into the frame, so you don't need no heat gun to separate it from the frame. Now we're going to go ahead and test our new screen before we put it in. That's a very important step of the process. If you purchase the screen online, you want to make sure that you test it before you glue it to the frame. So in case you have any issues with the image or the touch, the digitizer, you are able to return it to your supplier before you make any marks on it, and they tell you that you cannot return it because it's been installed. So once you connect it, we're going to go ahead and plug in the phone to power, and that is going to show us that the phone is off, and it's going to give us the battery level. Now, very carefully, we're going to use the tweezers or a metal, any piece of metal, to close the circuit where the power button connects, which is basically going to turn the phone on, just like if you were pressing the power button. For whatever reason, this phone gave us a little bit problems, so we went ahead and verified that we were touching the right terminals, and we were. Whatever the reason was, the phone was taking its time, and there it goes. It turns on. And once it came on, we went ahead and tested the touch, make sure everything worked the proper way, and then we moved on to removing the old LCD and gluing this one into place. As you can see, it works. So we're gonna go ahead and continue with the process. So we go ahead and use heat just like we did to remove the back glass. But now in this case, we don't have to be too concerned about not damaging the old LCD, mainly because we already know that it's damaged. So the only thing that we want to be concerned of, not to damage the frame that we're going to glue the new one into. Uh, Also on the bottom, where your menu and back button are, you gotta make sure that that knife, that opening tool that you're using, is on top of the circuit, not under it, and therefore cutting it. Same with the home button. You want to make sure that you take your time and you don't slash the flex cable that allows the home button to operate normally. We're gonna see if we can get a better angle so you can see that we are removing the entire LCD. If by any chance you remove the glass and the rest of the LCD is still attached to the phone, that's no biggie. Like I said, the main concern here is not to damage that menu and back button or the home button, which are in the bottom. Okay, now we're gonna heat up the area where the menu button is. So carefully, as you can see, we put in all the pressure towards the glass. We don't care to scratch the glass because we're removing this one and this one is defective. We don't care about the glass, we care about the frame and the button itself. Also, when you get to the home button, you want to make sure that you do not cut that cable and you separate the home button from the glass itself, not from the frame. So we're going to start with the other side, heat it up a little bit, and start separating the other side so we can get that big spacing on the top and slowly lift it up without damaging the home button, menu button, and back button. Okay, now that we got it separated, we're going to go ahead and move on to cleaning the frame. In this case, there's not too much stuff left on the frame. Came out pretty clean, but we're going to remove the last pieces of adhesive and go ahead and get the new LCD ready for installation. So we're going to use double-sided adhesive, and we're not going to use too much of it because if you already notice, the sides of the phone, there's not too much room for it. So we're going to go ahead and put adhesive on the bottom and on the top. And we're going to make sure that we do not cover those menu and back buttons, neither the ear speaker, neither the sensors that are on the top. Carefully, we apply the adhesive in the areas that there is no sensors, electronic um, buttons, or any other type of components that will need to be completely clear um, in relationship to the glass, the new screen. So we remove the last pieces of the plastic cover of the adhesive, and we are ready to attach the new screen. The new screen, the area that you see in red is adhesive, but the rest of it doesn't have any adhesive at all. So that's why it's important to replace the adhesive that originally came with the phone on the bottom and top. If you can get your hands on really thin strips of adhesive for the sides, go ahead and replace it too. It's not going to hurt. In the case of this phone, there's plenty of adhesive in the middle of the screen and plenty of adhesive on the top and bottom. And as long as you put enough pressure, you should be good. You should be good regarding the screen being glued properly. Now we're gonna go ahead and short out that power circuit, and there you go. We got it back on. We tested one more time. Everything works properly. So well, as far as the screen, remember that you need to test not only the screen, but you also need to test the home button, back button, and menu buttons once before you finish the repair. So let's get started. Let's put the frame in, and the rest of it is pretty much self-explanatory. If you are in this at this point of the repair, you pretty much almost ready to finish. If you stop the video, don't forget to give us a like, comment, give us if you got any questions, go ahead and post it on the comments, and hopefully this video was useful for you. If you want to follow it all the way to the end, the next few steps is putting the screws in and gluing back the back glass of the phone. And you'll see what we need to do, what you need to do in order to complete that process. Like I said before, thank you very much for watching our video. As you can see, we just like removing the plastic cover of the adhesive, and once we finish with this little last piece, we are ready to glue it back on the phone. Don't forget to give us a like and or post any comments, any questions that you have, and thank you very much for watching our video.